Roman figure 1, use the completing the square method to solve the quadratic equation 4x squared plus 13x plus 2 equals 0. If the question just says complete the square for 4x squared plus 13x plus 2, you can see that this is an expression because it is not equal to anything. Then you can do it this way. The first thing to do is to bring out factor 4 out of 4x squared and 13x so that the coefficient of x squared can be 1 because it's not 1 here, it is 4. So you write it as 4 into bracket x squared plus 13 over 4x plus 2. You see that when you open the bracket here, you get 4x squared plus 13x. Now you complete the square for x squared plus 13 over 4x. And that simply means 4, you put this bracket. Now, instead of x squared, you just write x plus the coefficient of x is 13 over 4. So you find half of that. Half of 13 over 4 means 1 over 2 times 13 over 4, which is 13 over 8. So that is what you write here, 13 over 8. You will not put an x here. When you are completing the square, you don't put an x in the bracket here. You just close the bracket and put a square here. And then you say minus the square of whatever you get here. This is 13 over 8. So that's minus the square of 13 over 8. Then you close the bracket again. And you must not forget this 2 plus that 2. Let me take this out. Let's take this out. Plus 2. And now you can continue by writing that as 4 into bracket x plus 13 over 8 all squared. Don't put an x here. You don't put an x there, minus. Now the square of 13 over 8 is 169 over 64. You close the bracket again and put the plus 2. Then you go further to say 4 into bracket. No, you can open the bracket now. 4 times the whole of this will be 4 into bracket x plus 13 over 8 all square minus, when you do 4 times 169 over 4, what you're going to get is, let's check that, 4 times 169 over 4, 169 over 64 rather, 4 times 169 over 64. What you're going to get is 4 times 169 over 4 over 64 this way, and 4 here 1, 4 here 16, and that will be 169 over 16. So that's what you have here, 169 over 16 plus 2, the 2 that's outside here. So that simply means 4 into bracket x plus 13 over 8 all square, x plus 13 over 8 all square minus, then we can even put these two together. Let's find the LCM is 16. 16 and 16 is 1 times minus 169, that's minus 169, plus 16 divided by 1 is 16 times 2, that's 32, plus 32. And that will give us minus 137 over 16. So that's what we write here, minus 137 over 16. And this is what we get. This is what we get when we complete the square for the quadratic expression 4x squared plus 13x plus 2. But if you are using the completing the square method, if it's an equation this way, 4x squared plus 13x plus 2 equals 0, it can be equal to 0 or anything. Then if it is equal to something, that means it's an equation. If it's an equation, you may not have to do it this way so that you don't get confused. There's a simpler way, there's an easier way to do that, such that you can avoid mistakes and you will always get it right. So that's what we're going to do now. If it's an equation, this is what you do. If it's an equation, if it's equal to another thing, you can bring that thing to the left hand side, or you can even leave it there. But for it to be an equation, you have an expression here and it will be equal to something. So there will be a left-hand side and a right-hand side. But if it's just 4x squared plus 13x plus 2, that's an expression because it's not equal to anything. So now let's see how to use the method of completing the square to solve this equation. The first thing to do, if the coefficient of x squared is not 1, then you divide through by whatever it is. Here, it is not 1, it is 4. So we are dividing through by 4. 4x squared divided by 4 plus 13x divided by 4 plus 2 divided by 4 equals 0 over 4. 0 over 4 is still 0, so it doesn't matter whether we write that or not. Then the next step will be 4x squared divided by 4 is x squared plus, you can write this way, 13 over 4x plus 2 divided by 4 is 2 here 1, 2 here 2, and that's 1 over 2 equals 0. Now that means the next thing to do is to move the constants to the right hand side. Then we have x squared plus 13 over 4x equals minus 1 over 2. Now we complete the square for x squared plus 13 over 4x. How do we do that? That means x, the coefficient of x is 13 over 4. That's x plus, the coefficient of x is 13 over 4. Half of that will be 1 over 2 times 13 over 4, which is 13 over 8. So we write x plus 13 over 8 all square. You can see that when I'm completing the square for x squared plus 13 over 4x, I didn't put x inside the bracket here. You shouldn't put any x there. Now, minus the square of this one. That's the square of 13 over 8. And that's equal to minus 1 over 2. Then the next step will be x plus 13 over 8 all square minus the square of 13 over 8 is 169 over 64, and that's equal to minus 1 over 2, which simply means x plus 13 over 8 all square. You go step by step that way and you won't miss it, equals minus 1 over 2. When you move minus 169 over 4 to the right hand side, it becomes plus 169 over 4. Plus 169. No, that's not over 4, that's over 64. When you move minus 169 over 64 to the right hand side, it becomes plus 169 over 64. And what do we have next? This simply means x plus 13 over 8 all square is equal to, now find the LCM. The LCM of 2 and 64 is 64. 2 in 64 is 32 times minus 1, that's minus 32, plus 64 divided by 64 is 1 times 169, that's 169. You must be very careful when you do it so that you don't make mistakes. Minus 32 plus 169, that's 169 minus 32, which is 137 over 64. And that simply means x plus 13 over 8 all square is equal to 137 over 64. Now, if you find the square roots of both sides, the square root of the left-hand side will be x plus 13 over 8, and that will be equal to the square root of the right-hand side, which is 137 over 64. And now, how do we do that? This simply means that's equal to the square root of what 137 divided by 64. That's the square root of 2.1406, which is equal to, we know that a square must have two roots. So let's find the square root of that. And that is plus or minus 1.4631. So that simply means x plus 13 over 8 is equal to plus or minus 1.4631. Now we can move this 13 over 8 to the right hand side, and when it goes there it becomes minus 13 over 8. So we have x equals minus 13 over 8 plus or minus 1.4631. Don't be lazy and don't be in a hurry. Just take your time and go step by step. You won't miss it. It's very simple. And this simply means x equals, let's divide minus 13 by 8. Minus 13 divided by 8, that's minus 1.625. So x equals minus 1.625 plus or minus 1.4631, which therefore means x equals minus 1.625 plus 1.4631, or x equals minus 1.625 minus 1.4631. And that simply means x equals, let's say that minus 1.625 plus 1.4631 is equal to, that's minus 0.1619, or x equals, let me write that under it, or x equals, what is minus 1.625 minus 1.625, or x equals minus 1.625 minus 1.4631. This is what we are doing now. Minus 1.625 minus 1.4631 minus 1.4631, and that's equal to minus 3.0881. And that's it, very, very simply. X equals minus 0.1619, or x equals minus 3.0881. And that's it, very, very simply. So let's check the next one. Roman figure 2. That says x squared, we are using the completing the square method to solve this. X squared minus x minus 10 equals 0. Here, the coefficient of x squared is 1, so we don't need to divide through by anything. What we just do first of all is to move the constants to the right hand side. When it goes to the right hand side, it becomes plus 10 because it is minus 10 here. So we are left with x squared minus x on the left hand side, and that will be equal to 10. Plus 10 is the same as just writing 10. Now we complete the square for x squared minus x, and that simply means x minus, we can see that the coefficient of x is minus 1. So half of that will be 1 over 2 times minus 1, which is minus 1 over 2. So here we write x minus 1 over 2 all square. When you are completing the square, you don't put x inside there. No. It is just this minus 1 over 2 that will be there. You don't need to put an x. So that means x minus 1 over 2 all square minus whatever, the square of whatever you get here. Minus the square of whatever you get here. That's minus the square of minus 1 over 2. And that will be equal to 10, which is what's on the right hand side. And now we go to the next step, which now means x minus 1 over 2 all square minus, the square of minus 1 over 2 simply means minus 1 over 2 times minus 1 over 2, which is minus 1 times minus 1, that's plus 1, 2 times 2, that's 4. So that's minus 1 over 4 equals 10. And to the next step, that simply means x minus 1 over 2 all square is equal to, we can now move minus 1 over 4 to the right hand side, and it becomes plus 1 over 4. And that simply means x minus 1 over 2 all square is equal to, let's add what we have on the right hand side. The LCM of the denominators is 4. 4 divided by 1 is 4 times 10. That's 40 plus 4 divided by 4 is 1 times 1. That's 1. And that simply means 41 over 4. So that means x minus 1 over 2 all square equals 41 over 4. Now we find the square roots of both sides. The square root of the left-hand side is going to be x minus 1 over 2. And the square root of the right-hand side will be the square root of 41 over 4. And that simply means x minus 1 over 2 equals, we know that, let's find what is 41 divided by 4 first of all. 41 divided by 4, that's 10.25. So we find the square root of that. The square root of that, we know that when we find square root, we should get two values. So that will be plus or minus the square root of 10.25, which is plus or minus 3.2016. Plus or minus 3.2016. That simply means x minus 1 over 2 is equal to plus or minus 3.2016. Now we move this minus 1 over 2 to the right hand side and it becomes plus 1 over 2. So we have x equals 1 over 2 plus or minus 3.2016, which simply means we know that 1 over 2 is same as 0.5. X equals 0.5 plus or minus 3.2016. And that therefore means x equals 0.5 plus 3.2016, or x equals 0.5 minus 3.2016, which means x equals 0.5 plus 3.2016, and that's 3.7016, or x equals 0.5 minus 3.2016, and that is minus 2.7016. So that means x is equal to 3.7016, or x equals minus 2.7016. We go to the third one very quickly, Roman figure 3. What does that say? Roman figure 3, 11x squared plus 23x plus 2 equals 0. Here, the coefficient of x squared is not 1. So the first thing to do is to divide through by what it is. It is 11. So we're dividing through by 11. 0 over 11 is 0, so we don't need to write that. 11x squared divided by 11 is x squared, plus we can write this as 23 over 11x plus 2 over 11 equals 0. Now we want to move the constant to the right hand side, and when it goes there it becomes minus 2 over 11. So that means x squared plus 23 over 11x equals minus 2 over 11. Now we complete the square for x squared plus 23 over 11x, and that simply means x. Now the coefficient of x squared is 23 over 11, and we find half of that. Half of that is 1 over 2 times 23 over 11, which is equal to 23 over 22. So that means x plus 23 over 22 all square. You shouldn't put an x here. When you're completing the square, you don't put an x here. You just write x plus 23 over 22 all square minus whatever you get here. This is 23 over minus the square of whatever you get here. So that's minus the square of 23 over 22 minus the square of 23 over 22. And that is equal to, let me write what it is equal to on the next line. That's equal to minus 2 over 11. And now let's go to the next step. The next step will be x plus 23 over 11 all square minus, what is the square of 23? 23 over 11. The square of 23 over 11 will be 529. 529. 23 square is 529, and 11 square is 121. So that will be minus 529 over 121 equals minus 2 over 11. Now what does this mean? This simply means x plus 23 over 11 all square is equal to, I can now move this minus 529 over 121 to the right hand side. And when it goes there, it becomes plus. So on the right hand side, I'm going to have minus 2 over 11 plus 529 over 121. And that simply means x minus 23 over 11 all square is equal to, what's the LCM of 11 and 121? That's 121. And that means 11 and 121 divided by 11. 121 divided by 11 is 11 times minus 2, that's minus 22 plus 121. 121 divided by 121 is 1. 1 times 529, that's 529. And that simply means, that will be equal to, that simply means x plus 23 over 11 all square is equal to minus 22 plus 529. That's simply 529 minus 22, which is 507 over 121. Now find the square roots of both sides. The square root of the left-hand side will be, let me write this x properly. The square root of the left-hand side will be x plus 23 over 11. And the square root of the right-hand side will be square root of 507 over 121, which is equal to the square root of, what is 507 divided by 121? That's 4 points. I'm writing it correct to 4 decimal places. 4.1901. So that means x plus 23 over 11 is equal to the square root of 4.1901, which simply means x plus 23 over 11 is equal to the square root. There will be 2 square roots, so that's plus or minus the square root of 4.1901, and that is 2.04697. That's 2.0470. 2.0470. Now we move this 23 plus 23 over 11 to the right hand side, and when it gets there it becomes minus 23 over 11. That means x equals minus 23 over 11 plus or minus, not 0 point, 2.0470. And that's equal to, let's see, what's minus 23 divided by 11? That's minus 2.0909 plus or minus 2.0470. And that therefore means x equals minus 2.0909 plus 2.0470, or x equals minus 2.0909 minus 2.0470, minus 2.0470. And that simply means x equals minus 2.0909 minus 2.0909 plus 2.0470. That's minus 0.0470. 0.0439, or x equals minus 2.0909 minus 2.0470 minus 2.0909 minus 2.0470 minus 2.0470. That's x equals minus 4.1379. And that's it, very, very simply. Those are the values of x. X equals minus 0.0439, or x equals minus 4.1379. And that's it, very, very simply. So you should try this yourself, which is Roman figure. Let's see, we just did Roman figure 3. Yes, we just did Roman figure 3. So you should be able to do this yourself. Try Roman figure 4. Try Roman figure 4, which is 20x squared minus 4x minus 1 equals 0. And Roman figure 5, 2x squared plus x minus 21 equals 0. Use the method of completing the square. Use the completing the square method to solve these two equations. And you can't miss it. It's always simple. But you have to be very, very careful and go step by step. You have to be very, very careful and go step by step until you get to the final answer. And that's it, very, very simply.